there will be no more. Welcome to the last Star Wars podcast and 2022 National Star Wars Podcasting Day. I'm your host, Spencer Chandler, and Christian's not here right now. We kind of forgot to record an intro, so I'm doing this really last minute, but rest assured that he will be here soon. Like I said, this is our Star Wars Podcasting Day special for 2022, and today we're going to talk all about video games. We're going to talk about new Star Wars video game, the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga that's coming out April 5th, 2022. We're going to be talking about how, some of the behind the scenes of how they made the game, and then we're going to end the episode by pitching our dream Star Wars games. So if you're ready for all of that good Star Wars content and just talking about video games and us being nerds for an hour and a half, stick around and let's get right into the podcast. Alright, so this segment that we're going to do of this whole big conglomerate episode, Chris and I are going to talk about Lego Star Wars and why we like Lego Star Wars, how we got into Lego, and we're going to talk about the new game that is coming out. We got an official release date of April 5th, 2022. I'm honestly really thinking about pre-ordering this game, Christian, because if you pre-order it, you get like classic characters in it. I don't know if you've seen that, but you can get a lot of the old characters. But I think before we talk about the new game, I want to know your history with Lego Star Wars and if you were as into it as I was when I was little.
Yeah, so I had the original game that covered the prequels when I was like 6 or 5. And I remember my most vivid memory of playing it was when I was I lived in a hotel room for a week between moving to the house at like my predominant childhood home. It was a real Zack and Cody situation.
Nice.
Which is funny because that's also where I first saw the trailer for Sweet Life on Deck. I was like, "What? They're going to a cruise ship?" So yeah, I was in a hotel and I played it on this like very tiny VHS built-in TV. And at some point I remember getting the original trilogy and then replacing those with the complete saga. And I also there was a dentist office that I'd always go to that had the game in this little room. So like while you were waiting to get called up, you could just play Lego Star Wars, and that was the cure for being at the dentist.
I think we may have been to the same dentist because I also remember that.
Yeah, it was there was Disney Skate, I think, and there was Lego Star Wars, and those are two of my favorite childhood games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember playing it a lot. It was probably my brother who like really helped with like unlocking a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I don't have specific memories of like solving the puzzles or anything. The thing I did most was replay the Revenge of the Sith dogfight from the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
That's the most fun level. And I did most of my playing in free play mode where I just have any character I want. And I think I would go for the unlockables, but it never felt like I never felt like I was like trying to complete it. It was more just like about feeling the story.
Yeah.
So I don't have that drive that you have to like 100% everything.
I didn't back then, I'll say. That's a fairly new thing. I started playing on, I think my first ever Star Wars game was on the PSP. I had the original trilogy on the PSP. So I played it, and then when I never had the game that only had the prequels. I never had it. So
you've never seen, or you've never played on the Dex's Diner set?
No.
That was the home base.
Yeah, no, I've never gotten to play that. So I first played the original trilogy game, and I was always confused at why it said Lego Star Wars 2, because I thought it was the first one to come out. And then when I got the complete saga, I was like, I'm in heaven. I have every Star Wars movie in game form. And I also agree, I would constantly replay that first level of Revenge of the Sith, but I would also go back and play the oh, why can't I think of the name of this planet? The Colosseum level from Attack of the Clones. I would replay that level a lot. But I was never really into 100%ing things. The thing that I can remember the most that made me frustrated, but also made me want to keep doing it. Why did you blur your background?
I just saw it for the first time. I was like, that sounds interesting.
Well, the thing that I remember giving me trouble, and I don't know if you ever played this, but on the original trilogy, I don't think they had it on the for anybody who's listening on audio, this has just been a really weird like 30 seconds. I don't know, they don't have it on the complete saga, but in the original trilogy they had the bounty hunter missions. You remember? It's like off to the side. No, only in the original trilogy they had it. They had the bounty hunter missions.
I think it's in the complete saga as well.
Okay, it might be. But yeah, so those always gave me trouble because you had like a time limit that you had to like do something, and I can never figure it out. But I always loved being on the Tantive 4 ship and going into the back section that you couldn't go into during the story mode and being like, ooh, I'm in a secret room. Like, and that was for some reason like the coolest thing to me. But yeah, as you said, when I got older, I'm now like, I get all the Lego games and I try to 100% them. So I have yet to go back and 100% Lego Star Wars because I don't have it for anything that still runs because my Wii broke. And it was the only other thing I had that was the only game station I had it on was on the Wii. So I want to get it for the PS4 or for PC and try to 100% that game because, you know, that's just, I feel like I have to go back and do it now. But after playing, I also never played Clone Wars. Lego Clone Wars. That I played it with you, but I've only ever played that dumb battles mode that I don't understand.
Yeah, I exposed that to you for the first time, and I was like, dude, there's a game. It's a mode, or a type of level on Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, that is entirely, it's really economic more than anything.
Yeah.
It's about getting studs and buying things that will amass to power and take over Battlefield, and it's impossible to do it in 10 minutes.
Well, and I was sitting there, and I'm thinking in my head when you're telling me about this that you couldn't do it and that you wanted help. I was like, all right, I'm a 19-year-old engineering major. Like, if I can't beat this level on a Lego game, like, I mean, I have to be able to do it. And then I probably tried it 2 or 3 times and then tried to give you hints 2 or 3 times, and we still can't get it. Like, I don't understand this level, and I've still never played any level from Lego Star Wars 3. I still have no idea how the gameplay is like. I know it follows the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars.
I honestly hardly remember the real levels because I just haven't done a ton of them. And I remember the most vivid memory I have is the Ryloth with a level with Yoda and those clones, and like it's very different because I remember the set being just very large, and like sometimes I feel like the camera was like over top. They really tried to expand a lot, but they were still working with the antiquated sort of system of the old games, which was, you can't control the camera. And like that was before they came up with the co-op thing where it'll split screen if you're going in different directions.
Yeah. That was like my favorite innovation of all Lego games when they were like, you can now walk to different parts of the screen instead of having to go right together. That was awesome.
But it did fix a lot of the like pieces, like because at that point there were a lot more specific pieces that were made for Lego sets in real life, and so they had like guns that like looked like guns rather than like microphones. And they they had like a lot of details that like just made it feel more specific than the original games. I don't remember a lot of the because they didn't because it was about the Clone Wars. There wasn't. It just didn't feel like a story mode. I don't think there was cutscenes.
Hmm.
There I don't know. It just felt different. It didn't feel like you were progressing through a story because you could do like you do levels just on your own time in your own order. You had to just check planets off your list.
Interesting.
So I think that's why I didn't go through with it because it was like, well, if I can just go at any point, it's not going to feel like a rapid succession of like I have to do this before I go to this.
Yeah.
And that so because of that, it probably and also because of my age, I was not as inclined to spend that much time with it because I was probably like 12 when I got it.
Yeah.
And I was more into 2K at that point.
Yeah, you got into the sports games when you got older, and I was like, nah, now I'm just an older Lego kid.
And but I do like the home base sort of being on a Republic cruiser, and you can even fly over to a Separatist ship. That's something I didn't show you when we were playing. Is that you can grab a starfighter and just like go on over to a Separatist ship.
That's cool.
Like,
Yeah, no.
and you can also use like you can go into like a missile launcher and like fire.
I did explore the Republic cruiser though when I was on it, and it was pretty cool. I got to play as
Yeah.
Ahsoka in a Lego game, and I was like, this is pretty sweet. And like also just like cool characters that are only in Clone Wars, and I was like, this is cool. I like this. But yeah, I never got to play it. So the only ones I ever played were the original trilogy and the complete saga. So, I when I heard that they were going to make a new game about and I've also played the Lego Force Awakens. Have you played that? It was like super like it was definitely just like promotional for the movie. It was like I think it came out like right after the movie came out, like within a year, and it was just like, guys, look, Star Wars is back. Let's make about it's the same thing that Lego did when Age of Ultron came out and they made the Lego Avengers and it's just playing through the Avengers games, or like when Incredibles 2 came out and so they made the Lego Incredibles. They were like, oh well, Star Wars is back. We're gonna make a new Star Wars game just about the Force Awakens, which is really good. It's actually a really fun game, and they added a lot of like new not techniques, but they add like a lot of new things into the game that like are updated from old Lego games that make it feel more like new, and it's very sleek and like I don't know. It's just a really fun game to play, and I got all the DLC character packs for free. So you have like um, Clone Wars packs and Rebels packs and OT packs and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Like it's a lot of stuff in one game. But when they announced the Skywalker Saga game, and I'm going to get all 9 movies that I can play through, I'm
That. Well, are they gonna include like Mandalorian and like? I'm assuming they're gonna. Well, they did this for the Force Awakens game as well. They like sort of completed the Clone Wars stuff that they never got to with the original Clone Wars game, right?
You can never play levels from it. You only play levels from the Force Awakens, but you had like character packs you could buy from the Clone Wars. So in this, from what I can tell about this game, you're not gonna be able to play through the Mandalorian or anything like that, but there are character packs of those shows. So,
but weren't there some like side missions or DLC missions for the Force Awakens game that had like I think wasn't there like a Rancor mission that was like more OT, more Return of the Jedi era?
I never had the DLC levels, so I don't know. I just had the character packs. So,
yeah. But yeah, the Force Awakens was rolled out similar to the Clone Wars, where like in 2015, Star Wars, because it was coming back after a large drought in the eyes of like the general public, that's like the peak of its popularity. So they were capitalizing the game off of that. And the same way with the Clone Wars, it was like this new show is loved, but like naturally the viewers are gonna dwindle season by season. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna catch it while it's hot with like stories just from the first two seasons. Um, and obviously it's not profitable for them to like go back and try to complete it.
Well, and it's funny because those are like the two worst seasons of the show. Like the show gets so much better after the first two seasons.
Yeah.
So I don't
So
know.
so then same thing happens with Force Awakens. It seemed ridiculous because like why like the the games have always been about trilogies or
Mm-hmm.
combining trilogies. So why would you focus on one game? But that's just the business. I mean, really, the business model has just changed a lot. They put so much into the journey to the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing. Like the gameplay, it's only one movie, but the gameplay is much like longer. Like you're still like you're playing through every bit of that movie instead of like playing through like a section and then seeing a cutscene of like the major thing that happened, and then like playing through it a little bit and then seeing a long cutscene. Like you're playing through like a lot of stuff in that movie. So the gameplay, I think there's more levels than there were in like per movie anyway than there were in the other games.
yeah, and it'd be interesting to compare all the movies because like it could have been that. I mean, obviously, if it's a video game about one movie, it's going to have more to dedicate to that story. But at the same time, I feel like The Force Awakens probably just has more action and set pieces
Mm-hmm.
to explore to the point where like if it was part of a trilogy game, you would probably cut some of that stuff. And they're probably doing that for Skywalker Saga, unless they just like are going whole hog and like adding levels to every movie. I'd
Yeah.
imagine they would cut some of that extra stuff from The Force Awakens so
Oh,
that they
I
can
don't.
just
I
have
don't
like.
doubt it. Yeah. I believe
What do
they
you, what do you
would.
think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna add stuff to every movie or cut stuff from The Force Awakens?
I think that I think honestly both, because there were only 6 levels per movie before, you know. So I wouldn't doubt that they either add more levels or add a little bit to the levels. You know, like make the levels a little bit longer, because there were a couple levels that were really really short in the original games. Um, but I also think they have to tone down the Force Awakens because that was like a very long game for just one movie. There's no way they can like it was enough for one game in a movie, so they definitely have to tone it down um a little bit. But also with the Force Awakens is by the time that game came out, they had already um kind of done the whole like actually talking in Legos instead of the mumbling. So it was the first Star Wars game to include actual dialogue from the movie, which was both cool and also a little bit weird after only playing Star Wars games where they mumble. But, you know, that's another fun thing about the new game that we'll get into once we start looking at the trailer.
Yeah, and it is interesting because like the first game, they really the silliness really worked in their favor because
Mm-hmm.
if they could focus on parody, it would distract anyone from criticizing the fidelity of like the graphics or the realism or whatever. And it's like I mean I'm an optimist, so I'm not gonna. And also, what's the point in like ragging on a game that's still admittedly for kids?
Yeah.
Um, but like, you could probably argue that like trying to make everything emulate reality and having this like 360-degree camera and like you know all these graphics that are like it seems kind of counterintuitive to like try to make Legos look like they exist in reality
Mm-hmm.
when like they function just as well when they looked sort of flat and just and the approach to like the story um,
Yeah.
was just sort of making fun of everything to now it's like no, this is like an offshoot mirror dimension of Star Wars this
Yeah,
is the
that was
thing.
the only thing that I really didn't like about the Force Awakens game is that, like you're saying, the first two games, first three games probably even, were very like they would make jokes constantly about the movie. Like instead of pulling out a lightsaber, they might pull out a banana and it'd be like, oh, that's funny, that's quirky, because they didn't take themselves seriously, and you could tell because they're for kids. And then in the Force Awakens, they still made jokes, not as much, but you could also tell they were trying to take themselves seriously a lot of the time. And so whenever they would make the joke, it came off as like cheesy and not like, ah, that's funny. He pulled out a banana that time. It's like, oh well, you're very serious the rest of the time. And then so this joke feels a little out of place. So um
I never saw any of those cutscenes. Did it feel like the kind of Marvel humor where it's like, okay, wait a second, this is ridiculous? Was it like that, or was it just was
it was more
there?
of like the same jokes that they made in the other games, but also in a game
But
that
then
takes itself
also like,
seriously.
yeah, like also like we need to rendezvous at this point, like doing like the serious like
Yes.
levels,
Yep,
like
that's
the
exactly what it was.
action
Yep.
exposition.
Right next to
Okay.
pulling a banana out instead of a gun. So it was a little weird. Um, so one thing, and from what I've gathered from the trailer of the Skywalker Saga, is they're trying to pay as much homage to the original games as possible. They're really trying to like give you that feel of the old games, just like updated. So I hold, I have high standards for this game. I know I shouldn't because high standards never lead to anything good, but I'm really excited, and I think that we should watch some of these trailers. Um, I really apologize if you're listening to this on audio only, but we're going to try to talk through it as much as we can, so that you understand what we're seeing. I'll also put all the links to the videos that we watch in the description. So if you want to watch them along with us, you can do that too. Um, I will also not be We'll not have the sound on so that we don't get copyright striked for anything on YouTube. So the first thing we're gonna be watching is from the official Lego channel, and it's Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga official reveal trailer. It's only 56 seconds long. We're gonna start it here. Um, and this was like the first thing I think they sent out. And of course, starting out with the very good.
This was before this was before Tross came out.
Yes, this was for Trust. So it's just a bunch of really cinematic views, and like there's a joke right there that doesn't feel like it's taking itself seriously, but is also, I don't know, it definitely has, these jokes have the style of the old game. It definitely feels like, um and you can tell this game is not taking itself seriously. Like they're like, yes, we're a Lego game, but it's just Star Wars. I don't know. This made me so happy when I saw it because it's a lot of the. Oh yeah, also coming 2020. So yeah, so that was a lie. It wasn't a lie. I think COVID set everything back a little bit, so um, we didn't get it in time. We didn't get it at that point, but I got so happy in 2019 when I saw that trailer, um, because I was just like, okay, we're getting a new Star Wars game, and it looks great. Um, so we'll move on to the next one, which is also another official trailer, which came out in August of 2020. This is from Gamespot Trailers. I also haven't screened these, so these might be the same ones. Also, Christian, you may speak about your views on these trailers as well.
The Ben Solo humor, I thought I liked that at the end of the first trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've seen a clip out of context of like Ben Solo, like them sort of nailing Ben Solo's character in this Lego Star Wars style,
Mm-hmm.
um, which would be a refreshing thing to see,
Yeah, and
given the ending. Okay, so this is showing more gameplay, and it's tracing the Anakin to Luke trajectory.
yeah, and it's got a lot of the new game mechanics in it. Like you've already seen some of the new game mechanics that were that were released in The Force Awakens with like the I guess like shootout shootout level things. I don't really know what to call them. You hide behind barriers and stuff. This looks cool. This is from Tross.
This trailer is from after Tross. This is from August 27th, 2020.
Yeah. Because there's some definite scenes from that movie in here. Oh no, man, this gameplay looks really good. It's still just, it feels like a classic Lego game, but also just really, really good graphics.
The shot of Mace Windu seemed like it was from the free roam mode. It looked like he was just exploring Coruscant.
Yeah. We get to ride the horses. Is that Yaddle? What the heck?
Yeah, that's Yaddle.
That was cool.
I wonder if the free roam mode is gonna let you like fly in space to each planet, or if you have to just teleport.
That would be interesting.
Like if you just go into hyperdrive and like visit any planet.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Vestidius throws his lightning pieces.
That was funny. I like that. That was good. And see, that's what I'm talking about. That's like the kind of jokes that I expect from a Lego game. That's the equivalent of pulling out a banana instead of a gun. One thing that I really love about this game that I think is hilarious is here near the beginning, you can see they did not update Anakin's really terrible hairpiece from the original game.
No, that's updated. It has more texture.
I know, but it's the same shape, which doesn't really look super awesome. But anyway, so they're definitely like
they have his Revenge of the Sith long hair piece replaced.
Yes, they do. They do. It looks better.
Same thing with Luke. Yeah, the whole like long hair that they used in the original games was not very accurate.
No, and see this right here. This is a clip from A New Hope, and Luke's hair looks much better in this scene than it does otherwise. And also we get Leia switching out her hair, C-3PO's red arm. And I think this character model of Luke looks better than he did in The Force Awakens. I like this character model of Luke a lot. Older Luke, that is, for anyone listening. And we get cute little porgs. Those are very sweet. But yeah, this trailer I think this might be the first trailer that came out after the announcement trailer. And it was more of a like gameplay trailer. So yeah. Let's go to the next one, which this is gameplay trailer 2, which came out in August of last year. So this is the second gameplay trailer that we ever got. I think this is from the official Lego thing too. And this may go in chronological order. One of these goes in chronological order of showing things.
They're showing dialogue.
I think they are, yeah.
Oh, there was a cutscene where they were alluding to the Clone Wars within Ben Kenobi's house. It was like pictures of Commander Cody.
Yeah.
So that's.
Whoa, that looks cool. Go back. What was that? So look at that character model.
Hold on. What they were bringing some humor that was beyond just like, you know, the Lego characters, and they're poking fun at this like beloved story. It's also like at this point poking fun of the inconsistencies, and the nature of this story being non-chronological.
Yeah.
Like that allusion to the Clone Wars is a funny little gag of like Ben Kenobi mentions the Clone Wars, but it was written before we had all these characters in our minds that like the history there. So it's like, well, what if you saw it in that context?
Yeah. Also, this character model for Luke looks awesome. This is the Last Jedi, I guess, standoff between him and Kylo. So I don't know. That looks dope. Luke with a beard and the short hair. I appreciate it. Man, this gets me really excited.
And then obviously the animation has changed to where like they just have much more personalized moves. Like I'd imagine almost every Jedi has a different set of style, which was sort of there in the original ones. Mace Windu had his own little flips, but a lot of it was stock. abilities.
Yeah. Man, this looks cool. Yeah.
Okay, so
Also,
hold
all
on.
these
It
planets.
looks like you teleport, but it shows your ship hyperdriving to
There's
that planet,
so many planets.
similar to Lego Avengers. Although I hope it's less tedious than Lego Avengers because it takes like 2 minutes,
It took
3 minutes
forever. Yeah.
to like get the Quinjet
We have
to a city.
Man, we have some like Endor, Hoth, Dagobah. Oh, we have Utapau. This is sick.
Cantonica.
Say
You can go to
Hanukkah?
Canto Bight. Cantonica. It's where Canto Bight is.
Oh yeah. Camino. No one wants to go here. Tatooine. uh I would assume that one of these right here is going to be Starkiller. One of these that are read out. They're hidden. I assume that one of them is going to
Starkiller
be.
base is well, technically it can move anywhere, but I think it's in the outer ring.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, Bespin. That's a really awesome. That's a lot. Um, More Mos Eisley things.
And obviously
Jet.
showing characters doing what they're not supposed to be doing, and according to the story, which is another fun sort of the point of the game is that you can have crossing like the eras and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. I think that's honestly going to be one of the things that is. Oh wow, that's a new character design.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan on when Obi-Wan's on Camino, normally he has that really terrible hairpiece for Attack of the Clones. It was like really straight and not like it was almost like too long, and now we get this like updated character look for
They've
Obi-Wan.
also made it so that the capes don't physically appear, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, they don't look like they have physical capes as
Same
much.
for Luke on
Oh no,
Octo.
there's
It
one.
was just
Kylo has one. It honestly may just be because it's wet on the Camino, and so it's gonna be, not flowing on his body. And then we actually got an actual release date for this,
which is still true.
which is still true as of right now.
But this was like
Yeah, they're
they
still.
had to redo some of the beats of the first two trailers because the delay was so long.
Yeah,
And then this one we're about to look at, which was from a few weeks ago, is like
this is the official like overview. It's 6 minutes long. Yeah, very excited. That's really good.
So you're getting that collector's edition.
I plan on it. Yeah.
Lots of things to talk about. Right, I've already seen the thing twice, but I forgot about the traveling through space part. So yeah, you can go planet to planet, stay outside the planet and do like dogfights, and you can.
Yeah.
There was a part where it showed like different regions of Coruscant to go to.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. There's character classes now with like stats on their abilities and like what you've got completed or something like that. Which makes it very interesting for like Rey because she's probably one of the most OP characters because she has like all those scavenger abilities plus Jedi abilities plus pilot.
Yep.
Which I don't even like. If you have like a certain character but you're in an X-wing, is that going to influence what you can do?
Maybe. I don't know. There's so many different like abilities. There's new like game mechanics. There's side missions. There's like I'm gonna be playing this game for so long.
But what stood out to you? What were the new features besides like new hair pieces? Like what?
Yeah.
What things stood out?
I love and a couple Lego games have done this, but I love the idea of not having to go straight to the next mission, but like as you're doing it, if you find yourself on a planet that you just want to explore, you don't have to go to the next level. You can just go off and start again, explore, and I love that. The only other game that's really done that are the not the Avengers game, but the Lego Marvel Superheroes games have done that a little bit, but not nearly that much.
Because they with the Avengers and superhero games, they had like you could play the game solely to finish like the Stan Lee stuff, which is all side mission sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And those things existed in the free roam part and in levels.
Yeah.
And you didn't. You could the Lego Avengers. I think you could sort of go whatever movie you want to do. I think.
No, you had to go from one movie to the second. I just started replaying it.
Okay. So yeah, this is different, but at the same time, it is in order because they're like choose your trilogy.
Yeah.
If I got the game, I would probably start with Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah. No, I think I'd start at the beginning.
Because like, I mean that's the order I watched it before Cross came out. I went from Phantom Menace on, and I think I'd see it. Like everyone has an opinion on what order to watch the Star Wars movies in, but I'm not going to do it enough to really like fully articulate the best like way to do it. I just don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
But like to like do it every few years, I guess. So like as a read, I want to do it a second time and start with Phantom Menace. But it's also because like that's the first game that was in existence for me. I obviously you didn't have it, but I would start with Phantom Menace and then like work my way up.
Yeah.
And but yeah, the whole like different attitudes you can have in a level. You can go and try to blast everyone, or you could just like take a shortcut or go around the action is interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's probably like the best way in terms of studs. You can like literally just take the route of least resistance and just destroy a bunch of boxes and you get more studs probably.
Yeah. Unless they do it like they've done newer games where if you defeat enemies, you get studs from the enemies, and the more of a combo you get, the more studs you get from fighting people. Some of the newer Lego games have been like that.
Okay. They showed Roast Tico.
Yep.
Love that.
Babu Frick. We get Babu Frick the Lego.
You had IG-88 grapple hooking on Canto Bite. It's funny how like much they highlighted that. It's like this is IG-88 and he's using a grappling hook. Mumble mode.
Yes, we need to talk about mumble mode. That you can turn it on to have it sound like the original Lego game. But you can also tell that he's definitely saying the same thing. It's just I enjoy the nod. I think it's funny. I'm glad it's in the game. Will I turn it on? Probably not.
Really?
Maybe for some I might. Oh no, I would want to play it through once without it to see what the audio is like. Because with all the jokes that it looks like they're making, there's no way that they're gonna use like only movie footage or like vocal lines.
They had to redub it because they had I doubt it's John Boyega. They had a line of Finn that said one heck of a pilot instead of one hell of a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some of that they had to do. It is kind of strange seeing the first person shooting stuff.
Yeah.
In a way, it's a fix. And it's definitely more efficient than using a Wii remote to aim.
Yeah.
Which is really hard. But it's I don't know, it's kind of strange that the way it's the way it's like mimicking actually like actual violent games. It's sort of weird.
Yeah.
What other design things that did you like about it? I'm gonna pull it up and like go through different stills.
I know one thing that I really liked about it is just how. I mean, you were saying that they tried to make it like that they were trying to make Lego games a little bit more realistic, whereas I feel like in this one they're going more Lego style. They're going back to the very Lego style, and it's like shiny and sleek, even though it definitely shouldn't be. Like that scene. There was a scene on Tatooine. I'm gonna see if I can scroll through this video and see it, and like this isn't on Tatooine, but this is on like I think it's on Jakku. But like this piece right here in the corner, that's like a smooth Lego brick. That's like this should be dirty as heck, but this is a smooth Lego brick. Um, and as much as normally we're like, man, I really want things to fit in. Like, I mean, yeah, like the walls here in this shot.
They have to distinguish what parts of the set you can interact with.
Yes, and that's a thing that has been missing in some of the new Lego games. Is some of them it's like I look like it looks like I can't interact with this, but I can, and it's kind of confusing sometimes. But like it's still very Lego here. Like it's not dirty. It's very shiny Lego bricks. I really love this. This is cool. This is a shot of just Jango Fett running down the back alley of Coruscant, it looks like. And
the alley. It's the back alley, of course.
The back alley. Yeah. And it just looks like there's holograms everywhere. There's a random dude just kind of walking, chilling. Giant hologram face in the background. It looks so cool. This was always one of my favorite levels.
The guy, C-3PO.
Yeah. This is always one of my favorite levels. Oh, that's another new thing that they're adding in that I really like is C-3PO. The protocol droids can break themselves in half to get into small areas. That was kind of cool. I like it. What else? Oh, we got these 3 planets: Exegol, Coruscant, Jakku, and Takodana. Which is weird because I thought Jakku was on the outer rim, and it's just kind of this is kind of a jumbled mess of planets because they had to do it, but it doesn't look like Starkiller is one of these. Actually, wait, isn't Crate Starkiller? Or no, what's the planet's name that you go to in Jedi Fallen Order that is confirmed to be future Starkiller base?
The Kyber Crystal planet?
Yeah.
The Clone Wars?
Yeah. I can't remember. Anyway,
I'm excited for Kijimi from Rise of Skywalker because that's one of my favorite pieces of production design.
Mm-hmm.
Crate as well. Was there ever a Crate level for The Force Awakens, like DLC?
I don't remember, honestly.
I feel like maybe I'm thinking of Battlefront.
Maybe.
But yeah. And okay, one of the things that stood out to me was any of the Last Jedi levels, specifically the throne room scene, because like it's all due to the movie being so beautifully shot, but like it just really works in Lego form somehow as well. Just the red of the Praetorian Guards and like the floors. I'm sure eventually you get to see the curtains burn down.
Oh yeah.
It just looks really dope.
Also, this makes me want to play this level, even though, it's from the movie. But also this shot here is really cool. Everybody showing up, and Jar Jar's looking the wrong way. Did you notice that? Also, look at this right here. Look at this right here. I'm gonna zoom in on this on the YouTube. Look at that. That's Rose holding Finn. I mean, yeah. So right here, Rose was holding Finn. Like, so if you watch, he jumps in her arms, and it's like really sweet, and then he jumps out.
Oh, and then he hugs Poe. They're alluding to that sort of love triangle.
They're really.
I don't like that Kylo is so far to the side.
Yeah. I almost wish he was up here with Rey.
Yeah, it's a weird thing with Kylo, and that, like, I'm not engaged enough in Star Wars social media to really.
This whole thing right here, though,
continuing to be angry about how they deal with him, but it people can go in. Other people more informed than me have gone into detail about how Ben Solo is like absent from merchandise, and it's very strange given how much people like him.
Yeah. Well, also, this right here is just an allusion to the very first Star Wars poster.
Yeah, standing on a little hill.
Yeah,
with space in the background.
And Leia with her pose here, and Rey is doing Luke's pose from the poster. So, yeah,
they let you sort the characters by like factions. and types.
Oh yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
457.
Going to 457. Yeah, that's cool.
And you see Bulio.
Oh. I guess this is young Boba right here. Yeah, young Boba.
Mhm.
Dang, this is so cool. Wow.
I wonder if they're. I don't know if they've like confirmed how many characters are in there, but
300, I think.
how many were in Lego Avengers?
Not nearly that many. Not nearly.
And I'd
Jeez.
imagine they'd have. Do you think? Wait, did they have create a character in The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that comes back.
Yep.
Um, yeah, man. I don't have next gen consoles, so I will probably just be hanging out with you and playing over the
Yeah.
summer.
Well, go for it. I'll be home this summer, so let's do it. Let's just play.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to be just like fully sincere. Like it's cool to like this kind of game. It's fun. It's a way to expand your. It's a way to like really interact with the movies and stories you like. Um, so I'm happy this exists.
Yep, I'm happy it exists. I will be getting it and playing it very much. Well, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna move on to the next segment of our show, which we don't know
And
what
it's
it
gonna
is.
be no, we do. It's gonna be less exciting. It's gonna be a bit of a downer. But it's sort of zooming out from our fan experience and talking about the realities that happen when these kind of games are made. So
sweet. Let's do it. We'll see you in like 3 seconds for you, but a day for us. See you in the next segment.
So for our next segment of our Star Wars Podcasting Day special, to continue on this sort of discussion about, in the broad sense, Star Wars video games, but specifically we're talking about this next upcoming Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, which feels like such more of a it's so much more of a mouthful than just saying complete saga, which like it's also the complete saga.
But now they can't. I don't know. They've already called a game that, so
yeah. And there was already this sort of rebrand for Disney calling it Skywalker Saga. Yeah. But it is 2 months out and it's gone through a lot of delays. So we're going to be talking about sort of the reason behind that and some of the behind the scenes sort of struggles and sort of the things that have plagued the employees for a while with Telltale Games, the producers of this game. It's things that have been going on since like a decade ago, basically. And there's this really good article posted about like 2 weeks ago from Polygon, written by Jackie Arwood. And it just sort of lays out a lot of testimonies from employees that just talked about a lot of a sort of a toxic workplace and just sort of like the expectations put on them to make this video game and make it as good as it could be, as it has turned out in a lot of video game companies, which I have a passing knowledge of. I've heard that the Activision Blizzard is like sort of the worst example.
Yeah, no, they kind of stink, but they also make crappy games too. So it's like it's not like the okay, Overwatch is pretty decent, but yeah, Blizzard and Activision are considered like some of the worst about it.
But yeah, I think what we're really getting to is that like, there's a lot of, I think video games probably is one of the, even more than movies, is the industry that like where fan opinion matters the most.
Yeah.
And like up until a few years ago, I feel like that was where the most ignorance sort of came in terms of how it actually happens. So yeah, I don't like ignoring that because it feels overly like consumerist to like focus only on what you're getting and not sort of recognizing the realities of how this stuff gets out, because we don't get that without the labor of people who are putting their heart and soul into this and aren't getting the resources or the help or just the decent treatment that they deserve, as they make these games.
Yeah.
So yeah, any questions? I don't know. It feels like a lecture.
No, I will say that I'll put the video that you and I watched that also talks about that. It's probably a little bit shorter and more concise than reading the article. So we'll post maybe even both, but definitely the video. There'll be a YouTube video in the comments of this video. So go check it out. And the first thing that I will say is that I agree with the guy who made the video. Is that a lot of people are like, boycott the game, boycott the game. I think that's not a good idea, because then that means that all the people who did work on it, it's like they did it for nothing. So
And a lot of those people's pay can be influenced by.
yeah, exactly. So I will still highly suggest to support the game, because I want to support the people who spent countless hours under really poor conditions to make this game. So maybe not the management, but the people who made them, I will be supporting with, I think it would be dumb to not buy the game just because you don't like the way the management handled it. So yeah, that's what I'll say going into it.
So I would say one of the major things that they were working on was this new engine called NTT.
Mm-hmm.
So that was this. It's weird because like some of the article, like it puts across sort of this the sort of the classic story that we're hearing about a lot of media companies or just companies in general. Just like this is like the worst stuff, and like this weird this disease version of like an environment that's like we're doing great things, but like don't ask for help, don't leave at the time you're supposed to leave, work overtime, like just like worker exploitation in a general sense. Disturbing, but then it's also like feels like literally just like a comedy at some point. Just how dumb people higher up are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That like they're so out of touch and insistent that they work on this like entirely new engine so that they can cut costs and not pay the license fees for Unreal Engine. And then you get this new engine that's like setting people back because it's got a lot of bugs and it's not as established, not working.
They're also not going to be using it for any other games after this game. They've decided that it's too difficult, and so they're only going to use it for this game, and then they're going to scrap it.
That's very interesting because like
That's
it
just like
feels like it conflicts with all the reports we're hearing about this game, which is like they're trying to make it a return to form. And I've heard the term like flagship game, like in the way that the complete saga sort of set the tone for what they did for the next 10 years. This is going to be like, all right, this is the quality you expect. But if they're not going back to that,
I would bet that they just go to Unreal. I'm not like, I think that they're just going to realize that they have to just realize that the amount of bugs is so much less, and they'll spend. Okay, let's put myself into a terrible manager who doesn't want to spend any money. They'll spend less money paying the license fee for Unreal Engine than they will paying their people overtime to fix the bugs in their program. So it's in their best interest to probably just use Unreal Engine anyway. So even if you're thinking like on the worst level about it.
I like the section that talks about the engine is called Unreal Expectations.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's just like this weird like cocky expectation. They're like, oh, we need to be both like achieving for the best, but also cutting costs.
Yeah. Didn't I think
Also,
the video said they spent like 100 million making this new engine, right?
I'm not sure that number.
Something like that. They spent way too much money making a new engine to scrap it, with after this game. I mean, that's basically a kick in the teeth for anybody that made this engine. It's like, hey, we want you to take all your overtime and just spend, 60 to 100 hours a week making this game, making this engine, and then we're never going to use it again. It's like, okay. I mean, granted, they didn't know that at the time, but I mean, even in retrospect, that's ridiculous.
I wouldn't say the main character, but like the main like bad guy, I guess, is John Burton, who founded TT Games. I said Telltale? That was a misnomer. It's called TT Games. They're two different things, right?
Yeah, Telltale Games makes all like the like I don't know how to. It's like Batman, Tales from the Borderlands. Like that's Telltale.
Yeah.
TT Games is a different organization.
Yeah. So John Burton founded it and was working from like I think I don't know if it's about a specific when he started a specific position, but he resigned at like in like the early 2010s. And he was like the creative director basically. And like there was this like culture of like yelling at people who would end their shift at the actual time it was supposed to end. And there was like this thing of like they had this system of like overtime and flexitime, which was like flexitime is like that sounds like a dystopian word because it's like applying the logic of vacation hours to like when you're working.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like here's time where you can like do a little bit less or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like but the thing about it was that like it's not like oh we're a little bit behind, we're gonna have to install some overtime. It's like no, we're planning on having an overtime phase where you can't slack off.
Yeah.
Which this is the overarching term, if you're unfamiliar, is crunch, which is what is used to describe this. So and then yeah, there was a part where they had like a meeting about the people's concerns with the company, and things that were not addressed were like the emotional effects of like mental health and like the bullying and like the wage gap, which is another factor that women were getting paid less. Like that wasn't. I don't know if that wasn't addressed because people just didn't think it was topical, or if there was any sort of fear involved in it, but like, or if it's just misreporting. But like the head, Burton was like, we're gonna put this into a reset phase, which like didn't really improve at all. So John told us he was going to hit the reset button in response to the survey results and try to start fresh. We started by dropping some of the odd rules we had at the studio, disabling the internet firewall, and allowing people to answer phones at their desks, but nothing meaningful that addressed project timelines, low salaries, or the crunch culture. It was back to business as usual the following Monday. What do you think of that?
Sounds like things went very well. Sounds like he had a meeting to help PR.
Yep.
That was a PR meeting. That's what that was.
Or HR. I don't know if I don't know how publicized this was before the company. Or
maybe not. It
It
may have
seemed
been It may have been an HR meeting. Either way, it was an R meeting of some sort. It was somebody. He wanted to make himself look good by someone's standards who had control over his job.
Yeah. And so like, yeah, this article like came out the same day as the trailer, the gameplay overview.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty well timed. and it felt like a bombshell article because of that. It was just
Nice.
like right as soon as people were talking about the game, it's like, oh, also there's this other thing. Don't
I
ignore
want to
this.
believe that this guy was sitting on it until the gameplay trailer came out, and he's like, I'm releasing this on the day we get the trailer."
Yeah. And I'm sure they have plenty of time to plan because the game's been delayed so much.
Yeah. Well, and then there's that whole issue with in 2020, whenever they were months away from their original release date and they still had not pushed it back, and they lowered the team to 6 people. It's talked about in the video a little bit that they, with like 3 months left until the deadline for the game, they took everyone but 6 people off this project and had 6 people working on this game during the crunch time with 3 months left. And that's one of the biggest reasons that we got that initial delay in the game, was because they literally just like had people not working on it, working on like some other project or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty terrible. Because I mean, they didn't pay those people any extra for working on the game. They didn't do anything else. They were just like, all right, you're gonna work super overtime now for the next 3 months, and then it didn't even get done. So they had to put more people back on the project. So
yeah, and so and there were so the people interviewed, obviously some of them were employees, some of them were testers, and the testers said that this is like one of the worst environments that they'd seen. It doesn't touch upon the issues of like the pay gap or the misogyny very much, and it doesn't go super in depth about that. And it's I don't know, that's an interesting topic because like with other reports about that happening at like Activision or with the company that is producing Star Wars Eclipse, which we have not covered yet. It's that's normally like the story, whereas this is more about crunch, and I can't tell if it's like not covered as much because it's less of an issue or just like less disgusting things to talk about, or if it's a choice on the writer to just sort of put it to the side. Because that's the thing. Like I was realizing that like my own decision to be more supportive of the Lego game, first off, is informed by nostalgia and like being into that game already.
Yeah.
And part of the spin of the article and a lot of the fan reaction was like, well, we still want to pay tribute to the employees who are working hard. But like it's still exploitation. And I was hearing the same things about the studio. Can you look up real quick the studio who's doing Star Wars Eclipse?
Gotcha.
Which that's more of a like more of a clear cut like culture thing where like the head of that department was like very outwardly homophobic and misogynistic, and was like not just in like how he treated the people, but like in the content of the games. Like he was looking to like make product that appealed just towards straight white males, and that sort of trickled all the way down through the employees. And there was just a very male dominated like toxic and abusive dynamic within that.
Quantic Dreams.
Haptic Dreams.
Quantic.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we should have been doing a podcast about that back then. I don't remember when that was. I think it was the period of this fall where we were like sort of on schedule, but not really.
Yeah.
So that started hashtag Blackout Eclipse. I don't know if that's produced any. I think the game's still happening. Which typically happens whenever people are like calling out Star Wars for transphobia or homophobia. Nothing really happens except for a quiet, Gina Carano is no longer working, but no statement or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Within myself, I just found that because of the stories told, I have a different reaction to the Lego Star Wars thing. And I can't tell if that's because the situation is different or if it's just reported in a different way. And it makes me uncomfortable. But I don't think it's wrong. It's not. It isn't. I'm not trying to say that like this is like a momentous decision whether you play this game or not. It's just like I'm thinking about how the reporting is different and how you can't really, you don't have like sort of a glimpse of the truth,
Yeah.
So yeah, but also the financial burden is not on me because I'm going to be playing your copy.
Yep.
I'm not buying a console for this. So
yeah. Yep. So I guess you'll be over a lot playing this game. Yeah. No. I just want to be able to support all the what the managers see as the filthy peasants that made this game, but what we know as the very hardworking individuals that had to go through a lot of crap to make this game.
And you know what's a good example of that, Spencer?
What?
Watching the credits.
I watched the credits.
No, you always make fun of me for staying in the theater and watching credits.
Dude, I stay for the credits of every Marvel movie.
That doesn't count. That does not count.
I'm kidding. No, it doesn't really annoy me.
Funny.
In the theaters, I don't get as upset. I get upset when we're at your house watching a movie and then you like sit there and watch the credits of a movie that you've seen 20 times.
Yeah, I don't do it for Flushed Away because I don't like that Tom Jones song.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Once that movie ends, I'm just ready for it to be done.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, so I'm definitely still going to be getting this game. So but this also makes me almost more ready for it to come out so that I can buy it, so that I can, help out, I guess, with some monies. Because like you said earlier, I mean, some of the people's pay will actually like depend on how well this game does. So yeah, if we can make the game do well, they get paid good monies, which is nice.
I think it's a very small group that really get affected by that.
Yeah.
I don't think it like balances it out necessarily.
Well, anyway.
It is have you ordered that? Have you pre-ordered?
No, I think I'm going to ask for a Steam card for my birthday so that I can just get it. Because my birthday's here. My birthday's in 3 weeks, so.
What does that mean? Is that a gift card?
Yeah, it's a gift card that you can only use on Steam.
Does that mean you pre-ordered it? You would pre-order it?
Yep. Or, I don't know. I might just get it on PlayStation. I'm still debating on which console I want to get it on. It'll run smoother and I'll have better graphics on my PC. But it'll be easier to play 2-player on my PlayStation.
How much would graphics like really matter?
That's true. It's a Lego game. No, you're right.
And it's like still next gen.
I don't have next gen console though.
I still count PS4 as next gen in my head.
Technically doesn't qualify as next gen, but I understand.
Everything's next gen to me
because all you have is a Wii
and an Xbox
and an Xbox 360. So, yeah. So, we'll see. I'll keep you in mind, and I'll get what's easiest for 2 players.
Yeah. While you're at it, can you get a couch too?
Get what?
A couch?
No. I mean, if you can find room right here to put a couch, then we'll figure it out. Yeah. All right. Anything else to talk about in this segment?
it's always heartbreaking when this sort of stuff comes out, and it's just don't bend over backwards for brands.
Yeah.
Like, latch on to stories, but like know that the people involved are often screwing people over. So I think that wraps up this segment.
I think it does too. All right, so that's going to do it for this segment of the podcast. So we're going to move on to our third and final segment. To get us out of this gloomy, dark feeling that we now have, we're going to end it on a high, positive note, and we're going to pitch our dream Star Wars video game. So this is if we can make a Star Wars video game about one thing, this is what it would be. And I have a few ideas, but Christian, I'm really interested to hear yours because I think that you and I are going to have very different opinions, but they're both going to revolve around the same thing.
Okay. In my vast experience of playing video games, there's only one true answer for what the perfect Star Wars video game would be.
Okay.
Basketball.
Oh my God.
You don't think that Yoda would just have the drip in a Larry Bird jersey down to his feet? Like, I'm picturing like just park mode with Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
And he can have his levitating little bowl that he sits in the Attack of the Clones, which was removed in the transition to Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, which is one of the worst made in that game.
Yeah.
In the prequel trilogy game, he got to float. And I guess it's cool that he can jump around, which wasn't that still in? Was it a one or the other? Was he only able to float in the prequel trilogy, but only able to jump in the Complete Saga?
Yeah.
Have both.
That'd be sick.
Anyway, what's your idea? That's not my real answer.
Oh, thank God that's not your real answer. I was going very serious with my answer. I'll give you my funny answers first. So one that I think would be really dope, and this is maybe influenced by some Star Wars Visions things. But I would love like a Guitar Hero or a rock band, a Star Wars rock band centered around the band from Star Wars Visions. I think that would be dope. And it's just you playing through like concerts around the galaxy and like managing your band and having the Hutts fund you. I think that would be sweet. That would be fun. Or you can have like, I'm trying to think about games that I play a lot that like would be fun to have like a Star Wars twist on. You might have nailed it with the basketball. That'd be kind of sweet. No, I'm talking about like fun, like funny games, like not serious games at all. The only one I can think of is like I've gotten really into racing games recently, so maybe like a pod racing game. That might be actually a serious answer. I think a pod racing game would be pretty cool. Possibly, but if you want my serious answer, I have two really good ideas. So pretty much, I would say probably my second favorite game of all time is Jedi Fallen Order. So I think Star Wars is already kind of killing it in the gaming department right now. Because that game is awesome. And I really love the idea of just like following one character on a journey. I've been playing a lot of those games recently. You know, I play Spider-Man PS4 is my favorite game ever. Fallen Order, what's the other one? Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I love all these like super in-depth. They're story driven, but also with good gameplay with it. And so I'm thinking like if we could get this, and this may be like just like Jedi Fallen Order, but maybe something that like follows another character, maybe the whatever he is from the first episode of Visions. You know, that samurai guy. Like, if we could get a story in that universe, like a samurai Star Wars video game, centered around the guy who's going around killing all these Sith, like that would be pretty sweet. Or maybe even like
read the book that's about him.
Yeah, read the book that's about. I have not read that, but I want to. It's one of the ones I want to read. I want to get to it eventually. But one that I think would be really awesome, and this comes from me partially playing Knights of the Old Republic. I would love a bounty hunter game. I don't want Boba Fett. I don't want Jango Fett. I just want a very generic, like, I want to be able to play as a bounty hunter going through like a story, like of him maybe having to go get this like high profile target, or but you do like lower profile targets over the place too, something like that. I think that
So
would be
like
fun.
it would, I think that would definitely capitalize off of Mandalorian, but it wouldn't have to be a tie-in game and like be tied to like every season.
No.
Obviously they would still do that.
Oh, they
with
would.
like with skins and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
would you have it to where like they make a character like Cal Kestis where it's like this is the guy, or this is the woman, or this is the
Yeah, no, I don't want it. I want to make a whole new character. I don't want a character that's already in Star Wars. I want us to get a new bounty hunter, and we're gonna like.
But does it have to be dictated by the concept artist? Like this is what they look like, or can you make your own character?
I think it would be
And
sweet to
then the
make your own.
core, yeah. I think that's one of the things that turned me off from Jedi Fallen Order. I was never gonna get it anyway because I don't have next gen. But it was just like it's such a no brainer for me that like um that you should just be able to make your own
The big
protagonist.
customization in that game is the lightsaber. You have
There
like
was,
full customization of the lightsaber, but not the character.
I think with that they were probably excited for the possibility of doing a canon story and they wanted to
Yeah,
get that out of the way.
and that's what it was. They were trying to make a game that could possibly be that they could easily just be like, well, this is canon. This character is this now. Um, they wanted a definite Star Wars character in a video game instead of making it like very generalized. Um, which is why I think it would be cool to have a bounty hunter game that just takes place. You know, I don't care what era it's in because there would be cool stories either way. Um, but you know, I don't know. I think it would just be dope to be able to just go on bounty hunting missions. Now, but I don't want it to be too much like Hitman. I want there to be like a decent story behind it and some like I don't know. I feel like they could really if they get the right company to make it, they could do it pretty well.
So it's funny that our this discussion sort of, or just like your taste, it seems like I'm gonna reveal that mine's in a similar way, where it's like much more in universe, more gritty, where like this would be like a rated T or M game
Mm-hmm.
compared to what we just were gushing about, the E10 rated game Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which like I guess maybe in a way you could say that they have a corner on the kid friendly Star Wars video game market. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name any other ones that are specifically for kids
Star Wars
besides like
games.
mobile games and like there was like a Clone Wars DS game at one point. But
There was a Wii game that I had, like Star Wars Duels or something, where you had to play with like you had to like do lightsaber duels and stuff.
it's all coming back to me. There
Uh,
was in the late '90s there was a bunch of games that were like the X-wing games, the Rogue Squadron. Like those are kid friendly.
Rogue Squadron's pretty kid friendly. I don't think a kid would be very good at it.
Um, but yeah, I think Lego is probably the most kid centric ones.
Yeah,
And then there's
absolutely.
the Connect game that we shall not mention. Um, so which okay, so yeah, my pitch. It's it's like sophisticated in the way you're talking about it, where it's like it's not like a silly thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like taking the lore seriously. But mine is basically civilization, but like without the ethnocentrism, because it's Star Wars, you can play around with anything, and it's I want to be able to just be in a Senate pod and really campaign for the Galactic Republic to like to give my planet resources. You know, like what if you're the leader of Pantora? Remember
Yeah,
that snow planet?
yeah, but that dude's a douchebag.
I don't remember the character, but like I don't want it to be like Civilization where you're just like looking at a map.
Mm-hmm.
Like there should be some combat, I would say, and obviously cutscenes, but it would be about like I don't know, like instead of like making it about conquering, just make it some sort of personal goal. Like that's what I mean. Like I don't get why so many video games is like I'm not against violence in video games, but so much of the motivator for the violence is just like you need to win because they're bad and they're gross, and that's all we're gonna go into it. But like, what if your goal was to like, it's like all this action, but it's in service of like providing peace. I sound like Peacemaker.
I will do anything for peace, even kill babies.
I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to do that. But like, in the kind of conflicts that are like we're, it's like dealing with sort of the political aspects of Star Wars. I don't know. It'd be like it would be like going into like one of those Clone Wars arcs.
Yeah.
But blowing it up, making it more in depth. I don't know how the game would work though, because I'm very, this is all I can think of. I'm not
nice. I think,
but like, they would give you the options of A, B, C, D options of choices to make or something like that.
Yeah.
And you probably start off with limited resources, and you can be, I guess they would give you the freedom to be like trying to start an empire versus trying to be a peaceful. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be cool if the bounty hunter game I was talking about was like Assassin's Creed-ish, and like the way that it is taking down people, but also there's a good story behind it. I think that would be cool. The other game I just thought of is, what if you get to play as like a Wookiee, like in some sort of like Wookiee game.
This Wookiee simulator.
Yeah. Just
like sitting in a tree, cuddling, and like
celebrating Life Day.
What food do they hunt? They just like,
I don't know. What does Chewbacca bring for Life Day in the holiday special?
Pork nuggets.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be fun though if you got to play as a Wookiee in something. I don't know. Or like, okay, I think that the bounty hunter game, it would be cool if you got to like play with other bounty hunters. Maybe like you're not like a well-known bounty hunter, but if you like got to team up with like Boba Fett at one point, or you got to team up with IG-11 or IG-88 at one point. I mean, I think that would be cool. Yeah, that's gonna be my official answer, as a bounty hunter game. I think it'd be sweet.
And there was that canceled Boba Fett game called 1313.
Yeah, I'm still kind of upset because I was really excited for that game.
Yeah, which that sort of, I guess Favreau, he has no link to that whatsoever, but like, it is interesting that like Lucas was planning a video game definitely a video game, but also sort of a TV show about Boba Fett and the underworld. And it turns out that the first live action Star Wars show ended up being about a Mandalorian.
Yeah, that
would have been really interesting if it was like, because it would have aired on like ABC, and Daniel Logan would have been the right age, and that would have been strange. In like 2009, just a few years after Revenge of the Sith, like that's an Elseworld sort of thing to explore.
Yeah,
which that stuff ended up sort of going into Clone Wars. But yeah, that's a bygone era, the late George Lucas in control era. What are we talking about?
We were talking about favorite video games, but I think you have finished up.
My thing keeps falling.
Yeah. You got anything else to say about your video games before I wrap up the episode?
I think they should have brought back the Star Wars Battlefront 3 thing. Before the Disney acquisition, there was going to be a third game where you could customize your clone.
That's cool.
And it got canceled, but I played the demo on PSP.
What if there was like a Call of Duty type game where you played as a clone trooper?
Wait a minute, was that a demo? See, I didn't know anything. That could have been like a mod. I don't even...
I don't know that would be sick though. Can you imagine if there was like a Call of Duty type game where you got to play as a clone trooper during the Galactic Civil War? That would be awesome. I think it would be cool. I'm just really into Call of Duty games, so that's just my personal opinion. I think that's gonna
pod racing.
Pod racing. I said that earlier.
Good pod racing.
Yeah, I said that earlier. I've had that idea but it's difficult. I don't know how you would make it super long and interesting.
It would just be like the story would be like a my career thing.
Yeah.
But like with actually a good set of actors and writing. And then I don't know. Maybe there's a Tusken mode where you can shoot at pod racers. Or maybe it would just be more of a party game like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
But I'm picturing like something more akin to like the physics of Forza.
Yeah. I like
it. Maybe be better to make it more cartoony.
I like the grittiness though, like doing an actual game instead of just like a funny Mario Kart game. But yeah. Anything else before we wrap up the episode?
I hope we delivered on a good Star Wars Podcasting Day special by talking about things we don't normally talk about. Because it's been sort of we've been going in cycles a lot. Having to re-explain why we don't like Book of Boba Fett every week. Give us some credit though. We did do an Indiana Jones series.
That was fun. I like that.
Yeah, we're okay. Well, the future. Let's have a brief segment about the future of this podcast because we haven't done that in a while.
Okay.
If you could sum up the future of this podcast in one word, what would you use?
Busy.
Okay. I think I would say optional.
Optional or optimal? Oh.
Here's the thing. There's a possibility that we just end up getting overwhelmed by the monotony of so many shows. And I don't want to have to like do the same thing week to week that we're doing with Boba Fett. I get that seems like it's an extension of the Mandalorian, so like maybe that's why it'll be different with Cassian, which is, you know, more Rogue One adjacent, and Obi-Wan, which is, I don't know. I feel like with Obi-Wan we could maybe I don't know. It's just like,
who knows? There's a lot of shows coming out, and we're gonna find out what the best method to bring you each of those shows is. You know, whether we do it like a Mando style, where we do it week to week, or we wait until the end and we do like a Bad Batch type wrap up.
We plan on doing the Bad Batch the same way because it allows you to have the arc in mind, seeing the full three sort of episode structure.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's going to be different though because it has 6 episodes. So like, that's one thing I kind of want to watch like all at one sitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, there's the added element of like school getting hard.
Yeah,
which
we're both college students.
Which at the end of the day is a worthy cause for Audible. Even right now, because I'm probably not going to sleep tonight because I'm behind an art project. So,
sweet.
With that in mind, we might just not record week to week and just wait till a show is finished.
Maybe. We'll have to see.
Yes. We haven't done that for Book of Boba Fett. At this point, it's probably going to be hard to schedule things. But we might do it. I don't know. Do you have anything to say?
I think we'll see how the future goes. and we will plan things based on the timing of when they come out. That's pretty much all we can give you right now. There's going to be a lot of shows, and we promise to at least do one episode about every show to give you some content from each show. And we'll do things in between to keep you guys entertained.
Or, I'm just saying, we could disregard the new stuff entirely and instead
become OT boomers.
No. Instead, talk about Star Wars Resistance.
I'm totally cool with that.
And we can do it on our own schedule because we're not beholden to the news cycle.
Yeah.
And that would also work in tandem with just getting off Twitter. So, because I don't want to be reading about any more Star Wars discussions. Are we going to include all this at this point? Because
probably not.
We got on a lot.
I'll probably stop after the optional.
That's a good way to end. It's like the day where everyone's celebrating being part of this community, and it just ends with me being, yeah, we might keep doing this.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of our Podcasting Day 2022 episode. Please go over to Star Wars Pod Day on Twitter and go check out all the other shows that are participating today. We want to give them a shout out, send them some love, just like they're doing for us. And also go check out Daniel from Star Wars Now This. It's the link in the description, as always, because he puts all this together every year, and we're so very grateful for him doing this and keeping the spirit of Star Wars podcasting alive in all of us. And if you want to find us on any social medias, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at laststarwarspod, or on Facebook and YouTube at the Last Star Wars Podcast. You can also email us at laststarwarspod@gmail.com. Let us know what video games you want to see. Let us know if you're excited for this new Lego video game. Or you can just say hi. We don't care. We want to hear from you. Thank you once again for listening to this episode of the Last Star Wars Podcast, and we'll see you next week.